Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so in our body, everything needs to be in coordination. Okay, coordination means like everything needs to sync. Like, see, if, what to say? Every organ or everything in your body, every organ, it needs to work simultaneously, right? Everything needs to coordinate amongst each other. Like, for example, um, if the heart, it will like uh, delay the pump of blood, then it everything will be messed up, right? And if for hormonal purposes, the glands, if they uh, stop the release of hormone, they will again mess up your whole entire body equation, right? And then like if some hormones do not work the way it is supposed to, then you will have some disease and everything. So in our body, there are uh, there needs to be control and coordination. Okay, coordination needs to be there. Everything needs to work in a particular way, in a proper way, right? And each organ needs to coordinate with one another. Like there is a digestive system, right? In the digestive system, the stomach, the esophagus, the mouth, all needs to coordinate. The saliva, if there is no saliva, then there is a little bit confusion in the whole thing, right? If there is no bile juice, then again there is confusion in the whole thing. So everything needs to work in a means everything needs to coordinate and work. Coordination is very essential. Like, for example, when you are doing a stage performance like a dance or a singing, coordination is essential, right? For example, if you're in a singing team and someone you have to sing together, right? You are in a group song. When you're singing it, you need to sing together. So, for example, someone misses the beats and sings something else, the whole thing will be disoriented, and whole thing will become bad, right? So that is, coordination is very much essential, even in normal life, but also in our body. So in control and coordination in our body, there are two systems. One is chemical coordination, chemical control and coordination, and the other is neural control and coordination. So chemical control and coordination, and yes, you can give your attendance, okay, in the chat box. You can give your attendance. So one is chemical control and coordination, one is neural control and coordination. So this chapter is all about the chemical control and coordination. The chemicals is the hormones. Okay, chemical in our body is nothing but hormones. Just remember that in chemical control and coordination, hormones play the most important role. That is, the chemicals here means the hormones. Can you name a few hormones? Can you name like one or two hormones? Do you know the name of hormones? One or two? One at least?
Testo-
Hmm?
Testosterone.
Testosterone, yes. Testosterone is a hormone. This is a male hormone, right? Then for
Yes,
females,
ma'am.
there is estrogen, there is progesterone, right? And the hormone that is common to both male and female, they are insulin, right? For
Insulin.
diabetic patients, yes, insulin. Then glucagon is there. Then parathyroid hormone is there. Thyroid hormone is there, right? And melatonin is there. So there are many hormones. So all those hormones, they are included in this chemicals. They are the chemicals. Okay, and the hormones, they are released from endocrine glands. Just remember it. Okay, the hormones, they are released from endocrine glands. So what are glands now? Before getting into endocrine glands, what are glands? Glands, they are actually organs. They are some sort of organs only. Okay, but thus those organs, they produce or they produce some substance. Okay, they produce and release some substance. Some substance means those substance may be hormones, those substance may be any other thing. Let me give you an example, right? So, of a salivary gland. Have you heard of salivary gland? Salivary gland. Salivary gland, it releases saliva. Salivary gland, it releases saliva. Saliva is not a hormone, right? It is a substance. So whether it is a substance or it may be a hormone or anything. So any substance, whether it is a hormone, any other substance or anything, those substances when they are released from by a particular organ, that organ is known as a gland. Okay. So a gland is an organ which, here it is, the definition is written here. The gland is an organ which produces and releases substances. And those substances that are released, either hormones or any other substances, those substances they perform a specific function. What is that specific function? Like for example, um, saliva. Let's take the example of saliva. Saliva, it helps in digestion, right? Then there is another gland, sweat gland. Sweat gland is also a type of gland. It releases sweat in the mostly in the summers we sweat, right? So sweat also releases substance. Sweat is also, they have a specific function. Sweat also has a specific function. If we don't sweat, it is not good. Sweating is good. Even though we feel uncomfortable, sweating is good. So the gland, it releases sweat. Salivary gland, it releases saliva. Okay. Then uh, testosterone in the males. Testosterone, that is a hormone. That is not any other substance. That is a hormone. The testosterone, it is released by testis. In case of males, testis is a gland. Okay. Then the estrogen and progesterone, those are released by ovary. Ovary is also an organ in the females. Insulin and glucagon released by pancreas. Okay, pancreas in males, females, everywhere it is present. So insulin and glucagon. Insulin and glucagon are what? Hormones, and the gland which releases insulin and glucagon is pancreas. So there are different glands which releases different hormones and different other substances. And those glands which releases only hormones, those are known as endocrine glands. Am I clear? Those glands which releases hormones, okay, only hormones, those are known as endocrine glands. That is, the secretions of endocrine glands, those are known as hormones. Secretion of endocrine glands are hormones. And the exocrine glands, they do not form any hormones. They do not secrete any hormones. Okay, exocrine gland example you can give. So endocrine gland example you can give: pancreas, testis, ovary, right? Those are endocrine because they are hormones. And exocrine gland you can give examples as uh, salivary gland, sweat gland, right? Because they do not produce any hormone, but yet they releases substances. That is saliva and sweat. Then there are three types of gland. Okay, one is endocrine gland, exocrine gland, and heterocrine gland. Endocrine gland, that is, we will discuss in details, right? Okay, but before that, just think that endocrine gland, they release hormone. Exocrine gland, they release uh, substances like sweat and saliva and stuff like that. And heterocrine gland, what it does, it can release any other substances as well as hormones. Okay, it has both endocrine as well as exocrine part. Okay, there are three types of gland. That is, one is endocrine gland, one is exocrine gland, one is heterocrine gland. Three types of glands are there. And what is a gland? Gland is nothing but it is an organ which produces any substance and produces or releases any substance. And that substance, they have some specific function that they need, that do or does in our body. Okay. So we will look into details about endocrine, exocrine, and heterocrine gland. So endocrine gland, they are also known as ductless glands. Endocrine glands are also known as ductless glands. Why? Because they do not have any duct. Now what is duct? Duct is nothing but tubes. Okay, duct is nothing but tubes. So ductless means they do not have any tube. Endocrine glands do not have any tubes. Okay, they are secretions, that is the hormones. Hormones, they are they come out of endocrine glands that I have already explained, right? The secretions of endocrine glands, they are known as hormones. Because endocrine glands can only produce hormones. They do not produce any other substance. Only hormones are produced. So uh, the hormones, they do not come out through any tubes from the glands. The hormones do not come out through any tubes. They are directly released into the bloodstream. Okay, they are directly released into the blood. They do not come out of any tubes. No tubes are involved. Okay, and remember, endocrine glands are known as ductless glands, and the secretions of endocrine glands are known as hormones. Now let's talk a little bit about hormones. So hormones, that I have one thing I have told, that hormones are chemicals, right? Hormones are chemicals. That is why the chemical coordination, chemical control and coordination, it has everything to do with hormones. So because hormones, they are chemicals. That hormones, they are known as chemical messengers. Okay, hormones are known as chemical messengers. Why are hormones known as chemical messengers? First thing, chemical, because it is a chemical. Messenger, because you know the function of a messenger. In Facebook we have a messenger, right? What is the function of a messenger? It relays messages from one place to the other, right? It relays messages. So hormones also does that same function. Hormone also has that same function, that is, it transmits messages, it relays messages, it carries messages from one part to the other. That is why it is known as messenger, and since it is a chemical, it is known as chemical messenger. Okay, what is a hormone? Hormone is a chemical messenger released by endocrine gland. See, if sometimes it is asked what is a hormone, this is the definition of hormone. Okay, a chemical produced by endocrine gland released into the bloodstream, and this and this and that. This one. But even if you write that hormones are chemical messengers released by endocrine glands, if there is 2 mark, you'll at least get 1. If there is 1 mark, at least you'll get half. So even if you don't write the proper definition, you can even write that hormones are chemical messengers, and they are released by endocrine glands, and they do a specific function. They have a specific function. Okay, so examples of hormones already discussed: testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, melatonin, growth hormone, and many others are there. I'll give in the notes, so don't worry. Okay, now is exocrine gland. So exocrine gland is the opposite of endocrine gland. That is, exocrine gland, they do not have any duct. They have ducts. Exocrine, endocrine, they do not have any ducts, and exocrine, they have ducts. Okay, exocrine gland, they have ducts. So their secretions, the secretions of exocrine gland, like for example, sweat and salivary gland is there, right? Just wait a second. Okay, so examples already mentioned: salivary gland, sweat gland. So salivary gland, they secrete saliva, right? So saliva, it comes out of a duct or a tube. Okay, they are not released into the bloodstream. No, they come out of a tube or a duct. So, um, what to say? They come out of a duct, and that is known as salivary duct. For salivary gland, it is known as salivary duct. And for sweat gland, it is known as sweat duct. Okay, sweat duct is there. Sweat comes out of the duct. That is known as sweat gland. Sweat gland, it produces sweat. It comes out of a duct. So ducts are there. In exocrine gland, ducts are there. And exocrine gland, it does not form any. It does not secrete any hormone. Okay. So exocrine glands, they like it does not it have any have ducts, and their secretions of exocrine gland, they are released into they come out of the ducts. Okay, ducts are involved. Examples are salivary gland, sweat gland. Then heterocrine gland, already I have mentioned that heterocrine gland, they have both exocrine as well as an endocrine part. Endocrine part is also there and exocrine part is also there for heterocrine gland. Okay, both the exocrine and endocrine part is there. For example, uh, there is pancreas, ovary, testis. So these are heterocrine glands. Why heterocrine glands? Let's take the example of testis. Testis, the endocrine part of testis, it the endocrine part of testis, it releases what hormone? Testosterone, right? Testis releases the hormone testosterone. That is the endocrine part of testis. But there is an exocrine part too, and that exocrine part will have duct, right? They will have tubes, and the exocrine part of testis, they will form what? They will form sperm. Sperm comes out of the seminiferous tubules. Tubules, right? Tubes. Tubules means tubes. Tubes means ducts. So sperm, it comes out of the seminiferous tubules. So sperm formation is the exocrine part, and the uh, hormones testosterone, they are secreted by the endocrine part. Same for ovary also. For ovary, the endocrine part of ovary, it produces estrogen, progesterone. Okay, and the exocrine part of ovary, it produces ovum or egg, and it comes out through the fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes. Tubes are there again. The exocrine part. Because ovary will endocrine part will produce hormones, that is progesterone and estrogen, and exocrine part will produce ovum, that will come out through the uh, what to say, tube. Okay. Then there is pancreas. Pancreas. Pancreas also, it is a mixed gland or a heterocrine gland or a composite gland. Mixed gland, heterocrine gland, composite gland, same thing. Okay. Heterocrine gland is also known as composite gland or mixed gland. So uh, pancreas, what happens? The endocrine part of pancreas, they will form insulin, glucagon, and the exocrine part of pancreas, it will form those alpha and beta cells, islet of Langerhans, all those. Okay. So what the what is that? The like end point is that heterocrine glands, they have both endocrine as well as exocrine part, which means endocrine part will produce hormones and they will not have any ducts, and the exocrine glands, they will have ducts and they will secrete other substances. Okay, like in the case of testis, it is the sperm. In the case of ovary, it is the egg. Am I clear? But since this chapter is all about the chemical control and coordination, right? Chemical control, chemical coordination. Chemical means hormones, and hormones are only released by endocrine glands. So this chapter is all about the endocrine glands. So the endocrine glands, that is, these glands will be included as well as this heterocrine glands will be included, because this heterocrine glands will also have an endocrine part, right? We don't have to study about sperm and ovum, but we have to study about progesterone and testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen, and insulin, glucagon. Okay, so the endocrine part of heterocrine glands and all those endocrine glands are included in this chapter. So sometimes it might be asked to write the differences between endocrine, exocrine, heterocrine. Then you have to write about the ducts, about the substances released. Okay, examples of the glands and everything. So there are 10 endocrine glands. 10 endocrine glands are there. That is, first this see, in the notes I will provide the notes. In the notes there will be the position of the glands. You need to remember the name of the glands, the position of the glands, like where it is situated in our body, where it is situated. And the second thing you need to remember is that what hormones each gland produces. That is the only thing that you have to remember. Okay, because since actually the structure and everything also needs to be studied, but since this is a diploma course, we don't have to go into that much depth, but just remembering the position of the glands, the like where it is situated, and the hormones released by each gland, that you have to remember. Okay, I will provide the notes, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll provide the notes. Okay, so there are 10 glands. First is hypothalamus, then there is pituitary gland, pineal gland. So hypothalamus, here you can see it is situated somewhere near the brain, right? Somewhere near the brain. So exact location it will be, I'll give you in the notes. That is, it is found in the basal part of this, uh, what to say, the forebrain. Okay, basal part. It's the lower part. And the hormones released by hypothalamus, they are somatostatin. Then there are the GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH in short. So those are there. So that is there. Then there is pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, it is attached to the hypothalamus. This pituitary gland, it is attached to the hypothalamus by a piece of like stick, like stalk like thing. Okay, and the pituitary gland, they releases growth hormone, then prolactin, oxytocin, vasopressin, all those are. Now when I tell you, like when I'm telling you, it will you will not be able to remember, as well as like it will be the spellings and all also it will be confusion. But when I give you the notes, that will be easy. And you can make charts and remember, okay? Make charts like if you learn what are the hormones, like that you can remember. Then there is parathyroid gland. There are four parathyroid glands. So the parathyroid gland, they releases hormone, that is parathyroid hormone. Okay, then there is thyroid gland. Thyroid gland releases thyroid hormone. That is thyroxine. T3 and T4 hormone, thyroxine. Then there is thymus gland. Then there is adrenal gland, pancreas discussed already, ovary, testes, and then there is pineal gland. Okay, so there are hormones released by each gland. Okay, like adrenal gland also releases hormones like adrenaline. Adrenaline is there. Adrenaline, then there is pancreas, insulin, glucagon is there. Pineal gland releases melatonin. So all these hormones are released. Means each gland they releases some specific hormones, particular hormones, different hormones. Okay, that I'll give you in the notes. Now let's talk about one more most important hormone, that is the melatonin. Okay, and this portion there is nothing much to discuss, but you have to remember, memorize. Okay, the hormones, names, everything that you have to memorize. No other way out. Okay, you have to memorize. And pineal gland, it releases a very important hormone known as melatonin. Okay, the hormone that is known as melatonin, and specifically picking up melatonin because it is a very important hormone and it is very essential. Okay, so pineal gland, it releases the hormone that is melatonin, and melatonin, it performs two very specific functions. First function is that it melatonin, what it does is that melatonin, it releases a what to say, pigment, that is melanin pigment. Melanin pigment. Okay, melatonin hormone, it releases a pigment known as melanin pigment, and melanin pigment, it plays a very important role in skin pigmentation. Okay, what is skin pigmentation? Pigmentation is coloration. Okay, so the fairness and dark people, fair and dark people, right? The more melatonin is present, that is the more melanin pigment is present. in our body, the more darker we are. Okay, like the dark people, the skin tone I'm talking about, the dark people, they will have more melatonin, and the light skinned people, they will have less melatonin. That is the reason why the external products, the beauty products, the facial kits, they will little bit work because they will wash away the dead skins and all. I'm not talking about that, but the skin color change, those fair and lovely and stuff, those does not work. Why? Because this is an internal factor. This is not something that is from the outside that can be changed by any creams and stuff like that. Okay, that is an internal factor done by hormones and pigments. The hormone is melatonin, the pigment is melanin. The more melanin is like those dark people, they have more melanin, and the light skinned people, they have less melanin. Okay, the more one function of melatonin, that is skin pigmentation. Second function of melatonin is that it regulates the 24-hour cycle, diurnal cycle. Diurnal cycle is the sleep wake cycle. Like you sleep in the night, you stay awake in the day. I'm not talking about those lazy persons sleeping 24 hours, but normal human being, they sleep in the night and they wake up, they stay awake in the day, right? Work and stuff like that. Do you think it is because of the light? Do you think it is because it is easier to work in the day because there is sunlight, and it is easy? It is tough to work in the night because you have to take lamps and torchlights and light bulbs and work. No, it is not because of that. It is because of that hormone, that is melatonin, that regulates the cycle, the sleep and wake cycle, where you sleep for a particular time and you wake for a particular time. That thing is done by uh, melatonin, and that is the reason why for some people it is easier to sleep when it is dark, and when there is a lot of sunshine and a lot of light, it is darker. It is not easier to sleep. It is easier to sleep in the dark because that melatonin is triggered. That hormone is triggered in the dark. Okay, so that is the hormone. The hormone, it has two specific function. One is skin pigmentation, and the other is 24-hour diurnal cycle regulates. Okay, so this is all about the endocrine glands. Next, we will discuss about the neural control and coordination. So, chemical control and coordination is done. Next, we will discuss about the neural control and coordination. This is about the neurons. Okay, now about the hormones is done. So, any doubts from this portion, you please ask. Any doubt? And if you have not given your roll numbers yet, please give it. Okay, so any doubts, please ask. And I have a class again, right? So this class I will update for today's class. Okay, for 11, from 11 I have a class again. So now that the class I took now, that I will update for today's class, and the next class that I will take, that I'll update for the tomorrow's class. Okay, that 11 I have class, right? 11 again I have class, that I will update for tomorrow's class. So tomorrow I will not take class because I have already taken the tomorrow's class today. Okay, this one now, what that now this class, this will be updated for today's class, and the class that I'll take from 11, that will be updated for tomorrow's class. Okay, any doubts, please ask. Otherwise, you just take some rest and we'll continue with neural control again at like 11:15 or something like that. Okay, I will text in the group. So any doubts, please ask. And I hope everyone has given you attendance. need to give you attendance as soon as you join the class, whether I say it or not. Okay, I might not say it. You need to give your attendance as soon as you join your class. Don't give it multiple times, only once.
Ma'am,
Yes.
last chapter notes today you will give.
The last chapter I gave. No, I didn't give
Blood dose you didn't.
blood. I gave. I guess I didn't. I give. I will give it if I have not given it. Wait, wait. Let me see.
Okay, ma'am.
Section A. I gave no circulatory system. Didn't I give circulatory system notes? Third chapter.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yes. No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I gave. See, if you don't find the notes, you can ask me personally. Okay. But I have given that notes. The chapter was circulatory system. Maybe the you have seen circulatory system. That is why you are thinking about that. It is not the blood. It is the same. That chapter only. Okay. Today I will give this one notes also now. Okay.
Ma'am,
Thank you. We will next class. I'll take. Okay. Like 11:15. Thank you.